Hey, I'm live. Hello. Hello, my awesome subscribers. How are you doing? I'm here again. Let's since we're talking about Hong Kong, let's talk about Hong Kong, right? Because it's not good since this week I think it's the 14th week. Yep, it's the 14th week that we are the protest is still going on. Isn't that sad? Yep. And it's terrible. Yep. Hey guys, how are you doing? And before I start my video, uh, I would like to thank Jim. He's a brand new Patreon, and he decided to support my channel, and I really appreciate it. And he actually saw some videos way back, like over a year ago, and he started noticing me. And thank you very much from my heart, Jim, for brand new Patreon support on my channel. Awesome. Before today, I'm kind of actually today's weird, guys. Yeah, thanks for the likes, by the way. Today it's weird because we experienced dry heat. Today it's just as hot where it's like 93, 94, and usually the humidity is like 98% or 95%, but today was like 72%, 75%. So it's like dry heat like in California or something. And it was kind of enjoyable. I mean, heat wasn't that isn't that great, right? But not having to sweat all your clothes getting all wet, it was kind of an awesome thing. Yep. Hey, Jesse, how are you doing? Okay. Hey, Grady is a awesome Patreon too. You've been on my page for a long time on Patreon, and I thank you very much for yeah. Yeah, I haven't. Yeah. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, just ready. Maybe you can see the live. Here, I got some swipes, soda water. Cheers, and enjoy your students. Don't give them a hard time, okay? Be nice. So I'm gonna just have some water here. I'm just gonna enjoy. Here, let's do an ad thing here. Can you hear that? Yes, that's what I need. Hey, hi, Ross. Cheers, everybody. Really thirsty today because, as I said before, is Hong Kong has experienced dry heat for once, and yeah, I kind of suck all the water out of my body. Ganbei, ganbei, yeah. Okay, and I always just I love ice. I always have another cup of ice just in case. Oh, Centauri, yes. Next time I'll find a beer and cheers, you guys. Mm. I had some Japanese food today, and the MSG was pretty intense, so I got really thirsty, and plus the dry heat. Hey, Joes03, good evening from Denmark. Hi, how are you doing, my friend? How's Denmark? Awesome, I hope. And hey, Bong, you again. How are you doing, my friend? Thank you very much for coming. Give me a like, guys. It's free. It won't cost you a cent. Okay. Okay. So let's let me see properly, so I won't get a bad back. Well, Hong Kong. Today's subject we're gonna talk about the four. The sodium will dry you. Yeah, sure. Yes, for sure. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about Hong Kong. 14 weeks of protesting, and just now these few days they kind of back down, and what they're doing is just they're jumping up in crowds of people. They're going to the mall and they're singing a song. Yeah, getting colder, but still nice weather for golf. Yes, awesome. Yeah, I mean, at least when you play golf, you won't sweat so much, right? Yeah, I can concentrate instead of wiping your sweat off. Yeah, so the protest is on for the 14th week, and the SAR government is willing to have people like going to town hall meetings to answer people's questions, but she set up some rules. Okay, uh, you're not allowed to wear a helmet. You're not allowed to wear goggles. You're not allowed to wear a gas mask. You're not allowed to wear like explicit remarks, right? So if you can apply for it, and it'll be kind of a, what do you say, just a pick. They'll just do a lucky draw and see who's lucky enough to go to the meeting, and she'll do it with all different districts, and hopefully yeah, it's, yeah. Oh, Ross, pretty depressing videos from Matt and Winston these days. Oh, no comment. But actually, talking about everybody, yeah, it's a lottery kind of thing. So everybody enrolls, and whoever gets to go to the town hall meetings and can ask her a question, something like, and everybody has like a, like 30 seconds or something, just a short time. So hopefully she can answer many questions, because Hong Kong for the 14th week, the thing is the government hasn't said anything that the economy has been affected, right? Uh, you want some water? Are you okay? Mm. He's just my son's just resting on the other side. Yeah. So it's a 14th week, but all you see the government now is just trying to band-aid everything, band-aid this and that, and trying to get people uh, to not protest as much, or not to protest, and have life to go on as usual, as the extradition law has been completely retracted, canceled, abolished. But the thing is, people now, I mean, if the government said that at the beginning, after like 2 million people came out, the second week of the protest, I don't think Hong Kong would dive into such a mess right now. Do you agree with me, you guys? And the thing is, I don't know, should I tell this kind of stuff? It's kind of, uh, you're not really supposed to talk about these, but because these videos, they're not really monetized. They're pretty much all demonetized. But I just want you guys to know what's happening in Hong Kong. Yeah, later I'll talk about the shopping and the mainland Chinese in Hong Kong. This Hong Kong is in, yeah. So this course, just to say it mildly,. It's terrible. I'm really thirsty. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I should have got a beer or something. British guy with 30 years in East Asia. I could sort this within 2 months. Yeah. I mean, so 2 million people came out the second protest. If the government would say, okay, we'll retract the bill, they listen to the people, because the people actually paid for the government, the taxpayers' money, and they you know, get in this position, and everybody pays the tax to have the government. So it's the people's government, right? Yep. So let's talk about the tourists. Last year, 2018, Hong Kong was, I think, the top five tourist destinations in the world. Hong Kong was the top five destinations in the world. Shopping, sightseeing, the food, Chinese food. Really fresh seafood, and everything you can get in Hong Kong. And the thing is, when you guys shop in Hong Kong, there's no import duty, there's no sales tax. So it's a really good deal in Hong Kong when you go shopping. Even Singapore, they're going to Singapore elsewhere for business. Yeah, in a way. And Hong Kong is supposed to be the easiest place to start a business without being discriminated upon. And there is about 80,000 Americans that are residents in Hong Kong, that live in Hong Kong. It's their home here. And it's really sad to see all this kind of thing going on. And, the Americans are concerned. Some Hong Kong activists has went to the Senate, Senate meetings, went to see Rubio to discuss all this political business about Hong Kong and stuff like that. And other people are not very happy that they're asking the Americans for help that saying that the Hong Kong people will solve this problem themselves, right? So it's getting these kind of things are getting really complicated. Here, just yeah, and so but sorry, my Spanish is just trash. But how are you doing, man? Cheers. Yeah, I'm still drinking. Yeah, I just have to gather my thoughts because you guys are so awesome. Give me a like if you can, okay? It's free. Yeah. So I'm just trying to always trying to once a week I try to do a live and just keep you up to date with what's going on in Hong Kong because you would see other bloggers that tell the story or what's happening in Hong Kong, but they are actually not in Hong Kong at all, and they are not experienced from their lifestyle because their lifestyle they're not even living in Hong Kong. Okay, so for me, I'm here. Yeah, drink tea is good. I'm here and I see this kind of things. Even me driving tonight, I was on the freeway, and suddenly all the cars slow down to a complete stop. And the first thing in my mind is I didn't look at Google Maps actually. The first thing I looked on Facebook, on the news. Is there any like people trying to block the freeway or trying to do something stupid or do make their safe? So the first thing I wouldn't look at Google Maps. I'll look. Oh, okay. There's no protest in front. Nobody's trying to block the roads, and then I'll look to Google Maps because if they block the road, for example, like 9 o'clock in the evening, I won't. I won't get out. I'll be stuck in that mess for at least 3 in the morning when the riot police come and clear up all the mess, and hope I didn't dress other colors like a white shirt or a blue shirt or I love police or something, and my car will be completely smashed up, and that's been happening too, and it's sad that um, people are fighting each other, and the white shirt people, they have knives in the pockets now, and they're trying to stab the protesters, and it's just unheard of, living in Hong Kong. Yeah, Mike Lee. Do you think relations between the Hong Kong people and Hong Kong police have been broken? Oh, I don't even need to complete your question. Yes, they are not in good terms. Because they cause the protesters. You know, they are naughty. Okay, they do bad stuff, whatever, and they use the tear gas, but it's in the suburban area. And the thing is, like Hong Kong is a concrete jungle. Everybody lives in buildings, and these tear gas, they're just nonstop throwing the tear gas, the rubber bullets or the rubber sacks, and go boom, 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 boom. And there are like senior establishment, senior homes upstairs, and they'll be drenched in smoke, and they already have they're old people, and they're really being affected because of the smoke, tear gas, and all that noise at night. And even other residents with their kids at home and stuff like that, um, it's not good because some buildings are old. The windows don't seal properly. They are still like 30, 40 years ago, the windows, they still use it, and it's made of steel, and it doesn't have any rubber seal or anything. So it's basically you have like quarter of an inch of gap on all the windows. So all the tear gas and everything will come in your house, and that's not good. And now the police, what I was saying, I'm not supposed to say, but I'll tell you because they don't tell, they won't say it, is that the police actually have been training in the Guangdong province with the China police all this time. And we noticed a lot of Hong Kong resident people noticed the police officers wearing the complete black. They call the riot team or whatever special squad team for riot. They don't even have a badge number. They have nothing. They wear masks, sunglasses, and they never say a word. I think the reason I don't know is it true or not, but a lot of people have the same feeling that they are mainland Chinese special forces that are trained to come down to Hong Kong to take care of these kind of business because they won't say anything. Because if you say something, you can hear from their accent they are not local, right? But the deal is, you've never seen so much violence from the police force. Like they'll just smash you in the head with with one of those metal sticks until blood stop pouring out. I'm sure you've seen this on TV. I'm not saying that the protesters are a victim or anything, or the police are a victim, because the protesters are pretty violent too. They've been throwing bricks, steel rods, umbrellas, anything they get a hand on. Those guys. But so now the thing is, yeah, it's true. Sometimes you just see one side of the story, not even one side. You just see the end part of the story, but you don't see the front part of the video. They chop it up, and one guy is like the pro Beijing. He's just giving out this. No, the other, not pro Beijing, the student. They say, oh, the police are bad, blah blah blah, and they just got out the subway, and without even looking, they threw the tear gas, right? And they threw it on the reporter and whatever, but they didn't show the part before, because when they were coming up the stairs, actually, the students were throwing bricks, trash cans, uh, metal poles, everything down there. So they were just holding their shield, just bang, 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 bang. They're trying to run. And when they rushed up to it, they just threw the tear gas because they were throwing anything they would get their hands on. So sometimes the news, you just see half of it, and people would just be thinking, oh, yeah, the police are bad or thing. So I'm just being neutral here. I'm just trying to, even for me, I'm trying to see the whole story and see. But the thing is, the Hong Kong people, yeah, it's the police. They're tarnished. Their name is, after it takes just a few minutes to tarnish their reputation, and they call the protesters cockroaches, and that's not very nice, right? Yeah. Yep. Definitely. And so the police. So now the students are demanding, not even the students, a lot of people are demanding that they want an independent investigation on the police, and to find out, look, find out what's exactly going on internally with them. And the police force is refusing, the government is refusing. And so now the main fight now is this independent investigation. And even the thing is, if you usually complain about the police, you would go to the, I think it's called ICPP, Independent Police Commission or something, to complain. But actually, that commission is run by the police department, right? So it, it might not be that fair, and you might never know the truth that what's going on. Gee, I'm really drinking a lot. Cheers, guys. I think you better eat your pancake, no, your mooncakes, because they're gonna be moldy very soon. Yep. So, and let's talk about the Hong Kong tourism. Now, uh, Hong Kong will never be independent. That's a fact, okay? Because Hong Kong depends on China, like in almost in everything, and it's hard. It's hard, and even the protesters, they don't want independence. They just want their own basic law to be fulfilled. To be respected. That's I think that's what the Hong Kong people want. Okay, let's jump into the main topic now, since I talked very wide variety of everything, on the 14 week of the protest. But the government has never said, oh, what's happening to the Hong Kong economy. Okay, you would never hear that. I never heard it on the news or anything. But let me tell you, the hotel reservation, the hotels, uh, they're like 80%, 20% full or less. So basically the hotels in Hong Kong are pretty much empty, and all the prices now in Hong Kong for the hotels are so cheap that they're going like 10% of the original price, and I mean, it's good if you want to come to Hong Kong now, but think about the business, the rent they have to pay, the staff, and the operational costs. It's not like a Motel 6. There's so much to be made, you know. So let me show you just on my phone here. I just show you a brief, just on the bookings, you know. It's just very sad to see, you know, see all these bookings in Hong Kong that has just gone straight to hell, and it's sad. Okay, for example, these here. Okay, focus. Yeah, see this Chatham hotel in Causeway Bay. Usually it goes for at least $1,000 a night. Now it's $225 Hong Kong. So that's like 30 something bucks. It's less than a Motel 6. Isn't that's terrible, isn't it? I mean, it's good if you guys come to Hong Kong now. Here, let's stroll here. See all these hotels, 429. You see all these. I mean, some are really nice hotels. You see the prices. You've never seen these rooms sell easily for 1,500 bucks Hong Kong. Look, is it upside down, guys? By the way, or can you read it properly? Here, see these hotels in Causeway Bay. That's a shopping center of Hong Kong. It has a map, everything. And let me see, you know, and some like this Best Western, guys. You know, my North American viewers. And this is not like a motel or anything. It's a high rise, and look at it, it's 223 bucks. That's how much is that? Like 30 bucks, less than 30 bucks a night for the Best Western plus hotel. It's plus, so it's more luxury, right? That's that's really sad. So yeah, I think this time it's worse than the SARS, you know, a decade ago. And I see this as really bad. Look, there's another one. You know, Causeway Bay. Causeway Bay is the main shopping area in Hong Kong. Focus. Best Western Causeway Bay, 205. So you divide that around 8 by 8. Okay, the other one, I'm sure you heard of it. It's called the Ramada Hong Kong, the Ramada Hotel. See, that's a tall building, 209 bucks. So this is just terrible. So around Hong Kong dollar, like one US dollar equals around $8 Hong Kong. And all these hotels are really nice hotels, and they're just gone to hell. See the Rosedale Hotel. I don't know. Have you guys heard of the Rosedale Hotel? $269. And these are the things that the government would never tell you. So if you guys can, like, for this Rosedale Hotel, that's a 4-star hotel, right? 200 and how much is it? 267. Maybe you guys can calculate and tell my subscribers how much would that be in US dollars, just to give you an idea. So this kind of pricing is unheard of, even the SARS a decade ago. So it's just appalling, and a lot of people has lost their jobs. Okay, and the government really wrong. Yeah, they really got grateful face. Think about how much staff, how much people run these hotels, how much resources they run from this hotel. Yeah, I'm sure from Nansha the ferry costs more than the hotel room. That's terrible. 30, yeah, $33. You can't even stay in the Motel 6. Is it? What do you call it? Yeah, it's a Motel 6 right on the freeway. And those aren't they're pretty nasty hotels. And they're not the Econo Inn type of little motel. These are like 4 or 5 star hotels, you know. That's terrible. Yeah. So I'm just, and the thing is, I'm here and I see these people, and actually my son is He's doing an intern job in one of the hotels in Hong Kong, and it's with Polytechnic University. And the hotel there is really bad too, and a lot of people are losing their jobs. So now, what the general trend in the hotels now is that more than 40% of the staff are on leave now. They just said, please go on leave to save everybody in the long run. And it's going to, it's a no pay leave. So they can't pay, the hotel can't afford to pay them. So 40% of the people are laid off right now, currently, as we speak, and they have no jobs. And the bad thing is, they are not, they are not getting, they still got bills to pay. They got everything, and that's no good. And which is really sad to hear. uh, You know, someone has to pay their rent. They have the kids. They have to feed, and life goes on. I mean, what can they do? Hey, Sonny, how are you doing, my awesome guy? Sonny is one of my Patreon's supporter. He's a strong supporters, and every time I give him a shout out because he's an awesome guy. Yeah. So these rooms, you guys. I mean, Hong Kong, the news is already scary and all that, but actually, if thing goes down, you just walk away, right? But like even in Causeway Bay, I mean, today I went to Causeway Bay. It was okay. Everything was normal and all that. You can still have a good time in Hong Kong when you come here, and it's for example, you don't see many mainland Chinese coming down to Hong Kong because the mainland Chinese, uh, the propaganda in mainland China are saying much. The news is much worse. Sounds a lot more worse than the news you see, outside of China. So a lot of them are scared of coming to Hong Kong. And the other thing is, if you, it's really easy to see mainland Chinese tourists. They will run in one of those those hand carries, the spinners, and they'll start speaking loudly in Mandarin, and they're mainland Chinese, and they might get attacked on the street because it's all this protest and everything is all about the government of mainland China. Yeah, exactly, Bong. If you are mainland China, and actually I don't know, did you guys see that Chinese reporter that got beat, zip tied to a luggage cart? Actually, I think that was kind of a propaganda thing. The reason this protesters got angry with him because he got his cell phone and he started taking headshots with everybody. He was just going like this to every protester purposely, and they told him, "Hey, man, why are you taking pictures of our? What are you gonna send them to the police or something like that?" And say, "Hey, just give me my phone, delete it." And that was really bad. And when they tie him up or whatever, they open his backpack. You saw a blue shirt and it says "I heart love police" in Chinese. And is that a setup or not? So now he's a national hero. Okay, but I think it's just such a coincidence that he would provoke the students like that, and just happen the students would have just happen in his whole backpack. He won't have anything else. He would just have a "I love police" T-shirt in his backpack. So, guys, I have no comment. But what do you think? What do you think? It's very easy to provoke a protester because obviously he's not doing well or whatever. He's not doing something legal. So when you start getting your phone and just taking snapshots of everybody, you're asking for trouble, right? So let's go back to the hotel business and let's talk about. So the hotels is just dead, and even I think I might plan a trip to Ocean Park or Disneyland in Hong Kong because it's really scary going. It's like kind of haunted, not meant because the lines are crazy. Like in California, you guys go to Knott's Berry Farm, go to Disneyland in Irvine. you have to get these fast pass and all that just to get in, cut the line a little bit, and you pay hundreds of bucks for the tickets. But it's not the case now. Nobody's lining up. Nobody's even going there. Yeah, Joes 03. Yeah, you guys, when you think about the situation about that reporter, something's going on. Yeah, Massive Fins, I seen that mainlander. He's trying to provoke people. He was driving an Audi, and he says police in Chinese characters had a big mainland Chinese badge on the side of the car. What is he trying to prove? He's driving in the States, man. What you think? I have no comment. This is ridiculous, right? Even like if I'm in the States, I'll just stick all these Hong Kong police on my cars and stuff like that. What's the point, right? Yeah, it doesn't. Sometimes this kind of thing I don't. I just get kind of upset because it doesn't prove any point. And another other thing is in Vancouver, a couple of weeks ago, the Hong Kong supporters were having signs waving, you know, waving protest signs and all that. And the mainland Chinese guys, they drove all the Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and all that. And the guy actually came out, and then they finally knew who he was from China and how corrupt he was, in China. And he burst his own bubble on TV. So why do they kind of do that to show off? It doesn't really make a point, right? I mean, I love the mainland Chinese people. I always go to mainland China. My relatives are from mainland China, but sometimes, you gotta. It doesn't prove anything. It doesn't. For me, it doesn't prove anything. I just in the States, I drive a '97 Lexus. That's how much of a show off I am, right? That's it's just ridiculous. Anyways, let's talk about uh, restaurants in Hong Kong. Restaurants, food is amazing in Hong Kong. I'm not bragging about it, but when you guys try the cuisines, you can try international cuisines in Hong Kong. All types of foods you can try in Hong Kong, and they're really, really good, really, really good in quality and the taste. The reason why there's so many restaurants to compete against each other, so everybody wants to get this Michelin star sticker or whatever on their windows, newspapers, taking pictures of the star TV stars, coming to their restaurants. Yeah, buffets are gorgeous. They're amazing. Like if you spend 150 bucks US in Grand Hyatt Hotel for the buffet, you actually have complete seafood, prime roast, you have foie gras, you have half shell oysters, shrimp, you know, you can just eat your heart out. And the quality is of that food is just amazing. So let's talk about the restaurants, Restaurants, they have closed about over 100 restaurants, and they just shut the gates down, and the bosses ran away, just left everything because there was so much debt going on. And for the landlords nowadays in Hong Kong, it's not now, it's always been the case in many like really busy areas and touristy areas. You can't use a limited company to sign a contract to rent or lease the premises. You have to use your own personal identification. You have to make a personal guarantee to lease this property, and usually it's about 3 to 5 years. It's because you can't get out of this lease. Something like, for my North American viewers, student loans. Have you heard of that? You can't say you're bankrupt and get out of it. There's no way out in loans. Yeah. So what would the restaurant owner, so he would just disappear. So lots of people have already disappeared, and there's already $10 million of compensation money unpaid for all the workers, because the next morning when they show up to work in a restaurant, the gates are closed and the boss has just disappeared, left Hong Kong completely. And this is really affecting a lot of families in Hong Kong also. So for the hotel business, 40% of the staff has been laid off with no pay. And now like over 100 restaurants has been shut down, unexpectedly. And all the workers now, the staff working in the restaurants are out of a job. And they didn't even get paid for the end of the month, the salary. So this kind of thing isn't reported. So I'm here in Hong Kong and I'm telling you what's going on. I don't mean to talk bad about Hong Kong, guys. Please don't be misinterpreted that I'm saying, oh, Hong Kong is just blah, blah, blah. But this is the truth. This is the fact, what is happening right now. So think about 10 million bucks of the compensation. Think about their families and everything. And it's the protest. And the protesters say, we want the Hong Kong economy to go down. And like even the tourists, how did they really get to the tourists? Is because they trying to, a couple of weeks ago, they went to the airport. They all stopped, lined up in front of the boarding area. They didn't let any tourists, any visitor, or anybody board the plane. The airport shut down all the runways. People roadblock. They made roadblocks on the freeway. They threw stuff on the train tracks to stop people from using the express train to the airport. So this kind of behavior is affecting Hong Kong's tourism industry and even businesses. And that's a tragic. Yeah, I this is no, I don't think. Let me read some comments, okay? I'll just take a few minutes. Let's read some comments here. Yeah, there was a big MTR. The subway was derailed. I don't think it was a sabotage. I think it's just an accident because they saw the train tracks were old and some other places were replaced already. So the reason they replaced it because it was old. And Hong Kong station there is a really heavy used area. So I won't be surprised. Yeah, that the MTR is just a natural accident. Bong had a question on the WeChat and Instagram. Yeah, you'll be on WeChat and millions of people will see it. I'm talking to the guy who taking pictures of the students and having this stupid shirt in his pocket. And even, Facebook, Instagram, they shut down hundreds of accounts, the fake accounts that spreading fake news about the protest. I'm sure you guys have heard about that. I hate to be in the I hate to be in the independent news, business, but I'm just telling you guys what's happening here, and I'm just sad, 14 weeks of this kind of unnecessary crap. And I don't know, you guys heard about the Ocean Park? There's a Marriott hotel, brand new hotel. It's 5-star, lux to the max, and the rooms are going for 120 bucks. It's like staying in Vegas, Bellagio or something, and they're selling the rooms for 120 bucks. It's unheard of. They'll sell these rooms easy for 500 bucks US. So my friends with younger kids, they're now taking advantage and they're all going to those hotels to stay with their kids this weekend. Yeah. Yeah, Jess, I'm just trying to be truthful because I'm just telling you guys what I'm experiencing right here in Hong Kong. It's not that. See, let me tell you guys. the police. Okay, I'm just off topic a little bit. The police, they had a song to sing against the police. Okay, and the thing is, the the police, uh, when they can, when they go to year, I think year 13 or something like that, and they don't graduate, and they can go to this special college, and this college is a very basic college, and you can get a certificate or something like that easily, and the qualifications are pretty low. It's pretty just like, yeah, okay, and they can get into the police force. So that's the best way of these policemen to get into the force with a basic minimum, career college education. So the university's protesters, they are laughing at them. They are just saying that, oh, you just graduate from this half-ass college just to get into being a police, and that has been true all the time. And the protesters are pretty smart. They hacked into police station, the police records and all that, and they have all the family pictures of the police, have all their ID numbers, have all their personal cell phone numbers, and that's a way of getting attacking back the police, so they would know who's at the police force and all that, and harass them. Phone calls would call them all the time, constantly, and stuff like that. So the news national holiday is October the 1st, and the fireworks has been canceled. So there is no celebration for the national holiday for China. And another thing is, a couple of days ago on Wednesday, it was the beginning of the horse race season, and there was a Wednesday evening, and that's a really happy time because a lot of people like to go to races. Excuse me. And it was canceled because they scared that the protest might, or everybody go there and ruin everything. And because actually in Hong Kong, the horse racing, the bets are really big in Hong Kong, because I'm not saying the government is into gambling and all that, but Jockey Club in Hong Kong does like almost half of the donation for the people in need. So the money they make from the horse racing bets, they do a lot of community service. So if you guys visit Hong Kong, you see Jockey Club, this school, Jockey Club for the old, Jockey Club, medical center, rehabilitation center, Jockey Club, bus, and that's the same. That's the thing is, on Wednesday it was canceled. So it was a really, really sad news for a lot of Hong Kong people, because a lot of income that comes from the Jockey Club that would help people. So that was, yeah, that was, sad to hear. Yeah. So now let's talk about, and the thing is, a lot of people, let's go back to the restaurants. Okay. I'm drifting away. So the restaurant people getting, shutting down the gates and all that because they rather run away, because usually these big restaurants, big names, hot places are personal guarantee. So that guy has no way to run to leave the country or something like that. And the other thing is, it's hard for the landlord to decrease the price of the rent. Do you guys know why? Why, since now it's been so many months, why hasn't the landlords uh, decreased the rent for the tenants so they can won't be struggling as much in the restaurant business? Think about it, guys. Yeah, but a lot of, yeah, lots of that guy pro Beijing is, some guys are for Beijing, some guys are not for Beijing. It's a big, it's horse racing is for everybody, but they just trying to focus on this guy, give him a hard time. My family, we used to own a lot of horses, race horses, and it doesn't mean, we support anything. We're not politically active. Okay, let's go back. So let me give you the answer for this. Why doesn't the landlords? Because the landlord is giving all these statements to the bank. So the bank, every 6 months or something, they value how much your shop is worth. Okay, so I'm renting, for example, $100,000. Oh, no, usually, in the hospital, it's $300,000 Hong Kong for a month's rent, right? So if he went down on the price, his property will basically be devalued by the bank because the loan he's making is increasing on because of the shop front. He's getting all this rent. So it's really hard for the landlord to decrease the rent because once he decreased the rent and when he files the tax, the bank would see these statements and the bank would probably say, hey, we can't value your loan, your property so high. So we have to devalue your shop value. And and this really affects the landlord because he can't make any additional loans or anything. He'll be tied up himself and his shop fund will be devalued right away. So in Hong Kong, you would see these landlords, they rather have the store not rented out, the gates closed for months, not having it rent out because he rather have this value of the property up here better than renting out cheaper down there. So this is how the banking system works in Hong Kong. So you can't really blame the landlord in a way because the bank, which the landlord borrows money from, watches his property because he's making the loan, right? Obviously. So if the more rent he get out of the tenants, his property will be valued higher because this place is worth a lot more renting out in the business. And another thing is these rents are not regulated in Hong Kong. For example, I rented a store. It's like 500 square feet, and I rented for 5 years on, and the rent has been just stable. And then when they did something to the more major decoration, they raised my rent to three times, three folds. And after the contract went another 2 years, he went up five folds. So when he went up five folds, I was just breaking even. I'm not even making money anymore because I can't charge the customer that much more because the landlord has, raised my rent. So the best thing is to just go close the store when the lease ends. And the reason I continued my lease for the 2 more years, breaking even. Okay, I was lucky to break even. Is because of the staff. They had families. They have people to take care of. They need the money. So I told them I'll keep on running the business until the contract ends and I'll close it. At least you have these 2 years to prepare to look for a new job. So that was the best I can do with my staff, and they worked for me for over 10 years, and I'm so grateful. You gotta have a heart for the people that work for you because they're there every day working for you. So that's today. I'm just talking about these hotel restaurants, and now we have lost uh, over half of the tourists, even more than half of. I would even say not even the official figures. I think 60% less tourists that are coming to Hong Kong right now as we are speaking. And Hong Kong, the number one for Hong Kong is the financial trading, right? The stock market. And number two is tourism. So now the tourism has really, you know, got hit so hard in Hong Kong. It's really bad because, and the government doesn't even recognize that. That's the amazing part because I'm a businessman. And when things happen like these, you got to be alert. You got to, take action. And we pay taxes in Hong Kong, and you got to you know the government's got to face up to what have they done to cause this ripple effect to the Hong Kong people, because for one business establishment there's so many people down there, especially for the hotels. There are so many staff, right? And suddenly they've been laid off without pay. That's so tough. And in Hong Kong real estate. Let's talk a little bit about that, guys. What you want to hear about real estate nowadays? It's Hong Kong is the most expensive place to buy a property right now as we speak, and and the prices has dropped. I must submit, but not really that much. Okay, and the mainland government doesn't give two f's about the property or whatever, because if you Hong Kongers can't afford it or you don't have this job to pay for your rent or pay your mortgage, sell it and get out of Hong Kong, because there's only, I think there's only five provinces in China that is open to Hong Kong, because it's not free for mainland China people to come to Hong Kong, right? So if these Hong Kong people are really affected and they had to leave Hong Kong, or they kind of, they just go bust, China would just open some province or whatever, and they'll flood the Chinese people to Hong Kong and start buying up property. That's why the property prices is not really going that much down. And by then, they are trying. The Hong Kong people will be diluted to the mainland Chinese ideology. You guys get what I mean? I'm being pretty straightforward tonight, but this is the behind the scenes plans. It it should make it doesn't make sense for you guys. It's like, okay, this is the truth. Like last week, the moon, it was Happy Moon Festival. Everybody's happy, but the pro Beijingers decided to throw a big amount of cash to get the mainland pro Beijinger people, give them, I think, $50 a head to come sing the national anthem or sing the CPP songs. And they did it in the International Finance Center. I mean, how can you do that? You go to the IFC, that's where all the stock exchange, the Hong Kong, this is the financial hub. It's like you come to the Wall Street and you come with all these flags and that, and then you keep on singing and fighting with the other people. You gotta. I mean, if you go to a small city, you go to Causeway Bay and do this kind of crap. You go to Mong Kok or go somewhere else. Why do you have to hold all these Chinese flags and sing these national anthems and race around, rock around, just to make because of the money they pay them? You know, they they do that for like 2 hours in the IFC. I mean, it's a high class place. It's for the top tier, for the elite people to hang out there, and these people go there and just trash the place, and it's just unacceptable. Okay, it just gives Hong Kong a really really bad name. It's the prestige, the prestige. Everything is just tarnished, and then you see the cameras filming on those people. The guy with bunch of cash hanging out the money. Okay, did you get your money? Did you get your money? After they get all the monies, they leave right away, give back the flags to the organizer, and they just leaves in busloads. Okay, so you guys know why I'm getting demonetized. It's sad. And Mid Autumn Festival, I was pretty happy. I shared a mooncake with you guys. I still have one mooncake, and I'm just afraid to even touch it now. And the expiry date is coming up soon. So nowadays, as I'm saying, that the Chinese government doesn't mind at all if the Hong Kong people leave, and all these protesters show their face and all that, whatever, and they're scared that they might get arrested, and they're leaving. Some go to Germany, some, I think, some going to UK, some going to United States. And the thing is, now they say the BNO, before the British left, they gave the Hong Kong permanent residents the British National Overseas Passport, and it's pretty much the same as a British UK passport. But the deal is, you're allowed to use this passport to visit the UK or Europe, but you're not allowed to reside in UK, right? So I don't know what that passport. What's the point of the passport, right? So it's handy if you go to Europe with the passport. But now Brexit is going on. So if when UK uh, succeeds on the Brexit, you take your British national overseas passport, it won't be useful in the European Union, and that will be just piece of paper, useless piece of paper. So these are the things that affect the Hong Kong people. They have nowhere to go now. And yeah, flat passport. And the thing is, the Hong Kong people got this national British passport. It's only for them. If you have kids, you get married, even though you have this passport, they can't get that passport. It's the rule. The deal is that you only get this passport, but it's a not really useful but your kids can never get that passport. Okay, so I don't know what's the point of this. Especially nowadays, now is the time that people are scared. People are in Hong Kong. People are scared uh, because they know about the communists when they took over. I think in 1941 and what they did, the Cultural Revolution and all that, the history. You guys look it up if you have time. The Cultural Revolution. That's why some of my relatives, they are not really polite, but they say, please, you from Hong Kong, you've been staying there for a while, but for us, we've been brought up after the Cultural Revolution. Everything had culture. Like my grandparents had, they were scholars, they university graduate, they were stoned to death, or if they were lucky, they were sent off to the farm to do hard labor. And all the thing that has historic or whatever, the poems and all that, the books, they were all destroyed and burnt down. Everything of the histories of China is a really old ancient civilization, and a lot of those things has been burned down, and that's really sad. I'm being really I'm being really direct today, but I just want to just to tell you what's really going on, because you don't see this on the news. And for us living here right now, it's just really bad. And talking about the Chinese yuan, the RMB, the, for these couple of years, the RMB has dropped against the Hong Kong dollar in the US, dropped more than 30%. So now it's eh, so the money in China, mainland China, is not a convertible currency. You can't take that money out of China. So you have no choice but to reinvest back in China. You can't take the money out. Yeah, and this is sad. I love China. I have business in China right now as we speak. I have, meet people from the CCP and all that, and they do understand my feelings too. But officially, they can't say anything. But unofficially, we have great conversations. I mean, not against anybody or anything. It's just a conversation that makes sense. Because people in China are human beings too. They have feelings, they have thoughts, they have their own rights too. Although some of the rights, no privacy, no privacy. In China, for example, you see this guy on the street and all that. You just demand, give me your ID, give me your whatever, and they'll just give. They're so used to the authorities. You say something, they obey to you. Some of my friends in China, they are the police heads and all that. Yes, you can just there's zero privacy. Yeah. Apparently enjoy the hot springs, cheap price. Yeah, in China hotels are really cheap now. But what the mainland, the CCP now, they don't want this protest to drift over to China, because a lot of people do hear some stories going through the border, and they don't want these students starting to come over. Because why students are coming out to the protest? Because they have a really clear thought, a clear mind that what's going on, what is right and what is wrong. That's why the students come out nowadays. You don't find, old retired people come fighting on it, but the students, it's for their future they're fighting for. You know, so this is what I wanted to tell you. Hong Kong tourism was like number two. Hong Kong, the second most important thing in Hong Kong, and now it's gone to hell, straight down the hell. So if you guys have a time, have time, come to Hong Kong. It's I promise you it's safe. If you feel in any way danger, look me up. I'll take care of you. Okay, guys, because you guys are awesome. And if 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 the students or the people, actually the students doing the petrol bombs, those are not students. Okay, those guys are paid. So it's actually it's all political too. Okay. And by the way, the the frontline protesters throwing petrol bombs, they were caught because they were the police. They're trying to stir the shit up so the police would have an excuse to be more violent. And it's all recorded on video. They have the evidence, and I saw the evidence too. And it's all political. Let's not talk about all the politics, all these things. So you guys, look at my Patreon page, go to my Facebook page, give me comments or stuff, from give me a like on my Facebook page, give me a like on this video if you think it was interesting, good information, because I guarantee you, people that are talking about Hong Kong right now, they are not here. A lot of people just seeing the news and just talking about it, but I'm actually here, and I know a lot of behind the scenes, and I've already been restraining myself not to talk so much about this issue. But it's not being monetized. It's completely demonetized, but I don't care, because you guys, you are awesome. You're the life of this channel. You guys, you make this possible. You make me, it's such an enjoyment to meet you guys around the world. It's just awesome. So I'm just gonna go to sleep. I have relieved my pressure, and I've, you know, just getting this kind of stuff off my chest has been awesome, to share you that what's going on. And if, I don't want to offend any of you guys or whatever. If I did, I apologize. But this is actually what's going on with Hong Kong, and I hope the people won't lose any more jobs, because there's a lot of people depending on these breadwinners, right, guys? So thank you very much for watching. And what is the time now? The time is 1:40 a.m. Saturday morning. So I'm gonna sign off, and remember, give me a like. It's free, and see the description box below what I'm using on my webcam. Is it good quality or whatever? Yeah, Sonny, man. Good night. Yeah, it's good to talk to you guys. I'm just so happy to, I'll try to make this a weekly thing if I have time. I'll try my best. And you guys, do me a favor, have an awesome weekend, and the happiest weekend ever for you guys. Okay, signing off, and take care. Thank you very much for watching. Love you all. Bye bye.